Good day, everyone! From the School on Air of Bamboo Teleskwela, Office Schools Division of Cauayan City, I am your teacher on air, Raimundo R. Butak, your teacher in Art 6 of Buyon Integrated School. Before we begin, make it sure that you are ready to learn. You have your modules with you, your pen, paper, snacks, and with the guidance of your teacher guide at home. Are you ready to learn? Now, let us review first our past lesson. What is logo again? Excellent! Logo is a combination of text and visual imagery that serves two purposes. It tells people the name of the company and it creates a visual symbol that represents your business. Next, what are the 7 types of logo? That's right! The 7 types of logos are the monogram logos, word marks, pictorial marks, abstract logo, mascot, combination mark, and emblem. What about the key factors in creating logo? Exactly! The key factors in creating logo are relevant or appropriate, describable or legible, memorable or timeless, effective without color, and scalable or versatile. What do we mean by sketching? That's great! Sketching is a favorite way for graphic design to come up with some quick and unique ideas. You really understood our past lesson. Do you want to learn for more? Today, we will be dealing with comic arts. This lesson is divided into 3 parts. The history of comic arts, different element and principle of comic art, and drawing examples of comic art. After going through this module, you are expected to know the history of comic art, appreciate the different elements and principles of comic art, and draw an example of comic. Let's do what I know on page 1 on your module. This is how you do it. I will read to you the following statements. Write true if the sentence is correct, and false if it is not. Use a separate sheet of paper. Are you ready? Let's begin. 1. Comic a story told using orderly panel images. Again, comic a story told using orderly panel images. 2. Comic strip is a sequence of drawings in boxes that tell a story. Again, comic strip is a sequence of drawings in boxes that tell a story. 3. Contrast emphasizes differences using light colors only. Again, contrast emphasizes differences using light colors only. 4. Caption shows readers what the characters are saying aloud. Again, caption shows readers what the characters are saying aloud. 5. Balance is arranging the elements in a piece so that there is an equality from one side to the other. Again, balance is arranging the elements in a piece so that there is an equality from one side to the other. 6. In every comic art, your main goal is to communicate the information clearly. Again, in every comic art, your main goal is to communicate the information clearly. 7. A comic art can only be seen in newspapers. Again, a comic art can only be seen in newspapers. 8. Comic used to express ideas through images combined with text or visual information. Again, comic used to express ideas through images combined with text or visual information. 9. Sound effects is a word that phonetically imitates or resembles the sound that it describes. Again, sound effects is a word that phonetically imitates or resembles the sound that it describes. Then the last one, 10. Emphasis contrasting light with dark creates emphasis. Again, emphasis contrasting light with dark creates emphasis. Please reserve your answer sheet and wait for further instruction. Let's have the next activity. Take a look at this artwork. What can you see in the picture? Where can you find this kind of picture? What are the elements of art found in this illustration? To answer the questions asked, let us proceed to the history of comic art. Before that, let us define first what is comic. Comic is a story told using sequential panel images. It is a medium used to express ideas through images, often combined with text or other visual information. A comic strip is a sequence of drawings in boxes that tell an amusing story, typically printed in newspaper or comic book, but now can also be seen in web pages. A comic book began in 1897 upon the publication of The Yellow Kid in Mapeh's Flux, considered to be the first comic book. The first Filipino comic strip by a Filipino is The Monkey and the Tortoise by Jose P. Rizal. It was published in Trubner's Record in London in 1889. It was part of a piece on Asian folk tale. Lastly, in the pages of Liwayway magazine, Tony Velasquez introduced Cauayn in 1929. He is considered the father of Filipino comics. Did you understand, class? Now, let's figure it out again. When did the comic book start? Bravo! The comic book began in 1897. What is the first comic strip by a Filipino? Good job! The first comic strip is The Monkey and the Tortoise. Next, who introduced Cauayn and considered to be the father of comic strip? Perfect! Cauayn was introduced by Tony Velasquez, and he is considered to be the father of Filipino comics. Next, what is comic again? Very good! Comic is story told using sequential panel images. And lastly, comic is a medium used to express what? What a brilliant answer! Comic is a medium used to express ideas. Now, let's proceed to the different elements and principles of comic arts. Take a look on this photo. What have you seen in the picture? Does it tell ideas? For you to answer these questions, let us discuss the different elements and principles of comic art. Based from this picture, what are the elements of comic art? A. Panels. The spaces that contains a single scene, usually in the shape of a square or rectangle. B. Caption. This sets the stage for readers and gives information about characters or scenes. C. Speech bubbles. These show readers what the characters are saying aloud. D. Gutters. The spaces between panels that contains little gaps in time. Readers can imagine what may have occurred in the poses. E. Suspension of disbelief. The moment in stories or comics when readers temporarily believe that the impossible can happen. F. Thought bubbles. This show readers that the characters are thinking. thinking. G. Sound effects. A word that phonetically imitates or resembles the sound that it describes. These are the different elements of comic arts. Now, let's proceed to the different principles involved in dealing with comic art. Let's begin. A. Contrast. Emphasizing differences using light and dark colors. B. Balance. Arranging the element in a piece so that there is an equality from one side to the other. C. Rhythm. Repeating an element that will cause the viewer's eye to move around each element. D. Emphasis. Contrasting light with dark colors. E. Movement. Use of light or dark to attract attention and guides eyes to subject's activity. Let's see if you really understood our lesson. Open your module on page 10 and answer what's more. Match the words in column A to its definition in column B. Write the correct letter on a separate sheet of your paper. Do the activity after the discussion. Next activity is on page 13 on your module again. Did you find it? Let's do what's in. Here we go. Choose the letter with the correct answer. Write your answer in a separate sheet of paper. I think everyone is ready. So, shall we start? 1. A blank is a story told using images and text. A. Comic. B. Logo. C. Text. 2. An element of comic art that refers to the spaces that contains a single scene. A. Caption. B. Gutters. C. Panels. 3. A way of combining elements to add a feeling of stability. A. Harmony. B. Movement. C. Balance. 4. It emphasizes differences using light and dark colors. What is this? A. Harmony. B. Movement. C. Contrast. Last, number 5. An element of comic art which shows readers what the characters are thinking. A. Thought bubbles. B. Texture. C. Balance. Let's check your work. Be honest. For number 1, the answer is letter A. Comic. Number 2, the answer is letter C. Panels. Number 3 is letter C. Balance. Number 4. The answer is letter C again. Contrast. And number 5. The correct answer is letter A. Thought bubbles. Who got a perfect score? You made a good job. For those who got lower than 4, strive more. Anyway, can you give 3 claps for yourself? 1, 2, 3. Again, congratulations. Next, please listen carefully. Have you seen a comic? Do you love reading a comic? What is your favorite comic stories? Why? Do you want to know how to make your own comic? I will teach you how to make comic art. These are the things you need to consider in making a comic. A. Read books on the subject. B. Make a model sheet. C. Start with an idea that you really believe in and want to share with others. D. Write your story before you start drawing it. E. Develop a style that is easy for you to do. F. Focus on your strengths. G. If you plan to draw realistic human characters, make sure you know human anatomy. Last, H. Make rules for yourself to follow throughout your book. To apply what you have learned, let's make your own comic art. Here are the materials needed. Cotton band, pencil, ruler, and crayons. What to do? A. Write ideas for your comic. B. Draw a 3 frames using pencil and a ruler. C. Use basic shapes to draw. D. Add in a speech and lettering. E. Add detail on your cartoon. F. Go over your comic in pen. To sum it up, every comic art, the main goal is to communicate the information clearly. One of the effective ways to relay the messages clearly is to create with the use of different elements and principles. The elements of comic arts are panels, caption, gutters, speech bubbles, suspension of disbelief, thought bubbles, and sound effects. The principles of comic arts are contrast, balance, rhythm, emphasis, and movement. And the things to consider in making a comic are: write first a story before drawing it. Select a style which is easy for you to do and make and follow rules throughout your work. To apply the different elements and principles of comic art, make your own comic, then share it with your brother and sister at home. And answer the activities on your module after our discussion. If you have questions, you can seek for your help to your parents, brothers, or sisters. You can also ask me through my messenger at Raymond Reyes Buta. This ends our lesson. I hope you learned and at the same time, you enjoyed our discussions. Once again, this is your teacher on air, Raymundo R. Butak. Thank you and God bless.